Hello, everybody. Welcome to your very favorite Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I'm your co-host, Mike EL, and as always, I'm joined by
Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
Woo! And this is a victory for democracy this week because I decided to let one of our guests take a pick and pick whatever comic book he wanted in the entire world. And we have a very special guest this week in the form of... He's not here yet.
The guest is here. He stepped away from the phone for a moment.
Okay.
I'm here. What
there
is
he
this?
is.
Woo!
I'm so confused. What kind of ragtag outfit is this? I'm here. I just went downstairs to grab a beer. I didn't hang up. I'm here.
All right, good. So yeah, this is cousin Brandon. Thanks for joining.
Let me just say, hold on a second. Now, I'm pulling back the curtain already because I'm already upset. Now, when you say he could have picked any comic he wanted,
this is what I get. This is what I do. I knew this was true.
I have
no. Mike EL, look, Mike EL, you said, what comics did I like? I listed a bunch of shit. I started with Spider-Man first and foremost. I said the X-Men. I was like, I like some DC, Detective Comics as well. And then, and then, if I can be honest, I have to tell you, I don't remember reading this comic. I thought, I was like, this is one of my favorites. This is when I started reading Detective Comics. I started reading it, and I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't remember this at all. I fucked up. I did bad.
Brandon, here's how Mike EL told me this story. Because last week he said you were going to come on and he let you pick whatever. And I said, he probably picked the X-Men. That was my first guess, the X-Men. And he said, no. He picked Detective Comics number 600 with Batman.
No.
Yes.
So look, Mike EL, I love you. That is not what I... Look, go back to that message. The first thing I said was, anything Spider-Man was always my go-to. I love Spider-Man.
Okay.
Then I got into the X-Men. Then I was like, I also like Moon Knight. I like this. I like that. I like Detective Comics. You're like, Detective Comics. so let's be fair. That's not really what I chose as my first and foremost pick.
Okay, can I just, for the record, since we have a software that saves text that we can reread after it's been typed out, my message was I wouldn't be opposed to that, meaning Detective 600.
What the hell?
Right. Okay.
Then wait.
Revisionist though.
Wait. Then I say I know a certain co-host just loves Batman. Okay. And then you said I don't and then you said I don't remember what any of them were about, blah blah blah. And then you're like, Detective Comics would not be my first choice, but I genuinely don't care. You said I don't care.
My gal.
Okay.
When he says Detective Comics would not be his first choice, you can't say,
if I said I genuinely don't care.
Comics.
Yes. Thank you. If I said no, Mike EL, I genuinely don't care after saying Spider-Man's my number one, you can't then introduce it as he loves Detective Comics.
This is what I deal with every week here, Brandon. With Mike EL and his Batman propaganda, and all he does is all about Batman.
No,
he didn't hear anything. He didn't hear anything you said.
To be fair, I do like Detective Comics. I'm just saying that's not my first pick. I mean,
he made it sound like he said you could pick anything you wanted, and you said specifically Detective Comics 600.
No. And to be fair, Mike EL, I would have gone with Alpha Flight over that.
Well, here's the thing: is technically, I mean, okay, maybe I've misremembered our conversation from a week ago.
Shocking.
When you said Spider-Man was my go-to, I already do a Spider-Man podcast, so that's why
you apparently do a Batman podcast every other week on this show because all we do is Batman and Superman.
Only 5 times, 5 out of 100. Come on. All right.
Lord. So I can be fair to Mike EL. Mike EL was very cool and understanding about like what do you want to pick, and I did go back and forth with him where I said I was like, I really enjoyed Detective Comics at a point, and I was like, I think this was the era I liked. So we selected this comic, and as I reread it today, I'm like, I don't remember ever reading this.
Okay, I have a theory, okay? I think maybe you're mixing up Detective 600 with Detective 627. Is that possible?
Why would that
What's
be possible?
627? Like, what happens there?
That's technically the 600th appearance of Batman because
Oh,
he appeared. Yeah, he first appeared in issue 27, so it's possible.
I'm going to guess that's not what he did. I'm going to guess that's not what he did.
Okay.
It is possible, to be fair to Mike L. It is possible because, again, I read this today and I'm like, I've never read this before, but I did collect Detective Comics at some point, and I have no idea. I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, this isn't something I've read. I was like, why would I pick this? But I don't know.
I was asking myself that same question when I was reading this because I'm like, what the fuck would Brandon pick this book if all the comics in the world?
So long. It's so long.
Just for the record,
I quit halfway through.
See, this is okay. Here's the thing. I've reviewed 102 comics for this podcast. I've never quit halfway through. Okay, but not only did I not quit halfway through,
75 pages. This was 75 pages.
Not only did I not quit halfway through, I read all 3 parts, and let me tell you, it's a 6-part story. So it's the equivalent of reading 6 comics.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's a 6-part story, but don't worry, it only feels like 70. It's just how. Hey, Brandon,
I was so bored.
Mike L made me read a Flash Spectacular that was like 100 pages.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why?
Because he hates.
So wait, so just so I'm clear, because again, I'm not a regular on the show. So Mike L, I'm assuming you are a DC guy, and Mike Dell, you are a Marvel.
No, I am an equality guy.
He's a DC guy.
Right, because I am not a DC guy. I'm not. I don't. I think they're pretty bad comics. Other than, again, I like Detective Comics. Otherwise, not a fan. Just not a fan.
Well,
and by the way, that Superman we were gonna discuss. Ooh, Jesus.
Hey, that's a Marvel guy. That's John Byrne. That's
bad.
His fault. Yeah, it was bad.
Yes,
it was bad. It was all exposition. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was so bored. Where it's like, aren't comic books supposed to have action? Like, it was like a flashback.
Yes.
No.
Instead of showing you all these exciting things, let me just tell you about them. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dreadful.
Brandon,
I will say this is better than that. I just couldn't finish it because I was bored.
I feel bad though, Brandon, because the first time you're on, you did Secret Wars. That's one you picked. Secret Wars 1.
Secret Wars I love, and I will never apologize. I love.
Yeah, we did that. But then Mike L made you come back the next week for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, substance.
And then the next time he had you on, he roped you into doing Quasar, which is
no,
right?
That was also Brandon's pick. That was Brandon's pick.
Was not.
I wasn't so mad about Quasar as I was about the Angler. That was so lame.
Yeah, the Angler.
What a lame ass.
But the reason that was he gave you a list of books, and you picked Quasar because you thought he was Warlock. You thought it was Adam Warlock.
I thought it was Adam Warlock in the Infinity Watch. That's exactly right.
That's right. So now this time, then you're going to be on Superman last week, but you got into a fight with some Hornets, and you're okay. Everything's all right. You're all right.
I am okay. The doctor determined that they think I have hypertension, but hey, that's fine. But yeah, I did get stung by 7 Hornets.
7 Hornets.
Okay.
Right. Maybe you're a superhero now. But so you had to read that dopey Superman book, and now you got to read this dopey Batman book. I just feel terrible.
Well, to be fair, so once again, to be fair to Mike L, this is the one I thought I was like, you know what? I started reading Detective Comics with issue 600, and then I read it. Well, I read half of it. I'm like, I have never seen it. So to be fair, it's not his fault. I do know, though, at some point I collected Detective Comics, and I very much enjoyed it. This just wasn't what I enjoyed. I should point out, too, as an aside, around like 10 or midnight last night, my AC went out of my house. My house is a goddamn sauna. It's like 87 degrees in my house. I am losing my mind. I am drunk. I am uncomfortable. I don't know what's happening.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
I'm amazed you're awake. It's 9 o'clock. We're recording
Well,
this. You're awake.
I'm amazed I'm awake.
I know.
To be fair, but who can sleep? It's so hot. How are you going to sleep?
Because Mike L said, "Can we record at 9?" I was like, "You're probably gonna have to go earlier if you're getting Brandon on because he's out. He's
I thought that initially, but I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm not like, oh, num 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 num. It's so relaxing. Oh, it feels so good in here. No, I'm dying right now. All three of my dogs are downstairs with my wife sleeping in the guest room because it's cooler down there. I feel so bad for the dogs. I'm losing my mind. I'm upstairs. I'm going to melt.
What a guy. Because Brandon, I thought you were going to join us on the LCS show last week for Hard Ticket to Hawaii. We discussed Hard Ticket.
I was, and then I passed.
Yeah, you fell asleep. Yeah, this is what happens all the time, Mike L. He falls asleep by 9 o'clock. He's never awake.
Yeah, but to be fair, hey, Mike Dell, that movie is fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah,
it's so good.
We all loved it. Brandon, let me just put this out there. At some point coming up, whenever you feel like doing more fake radio, Kevin Jank and I are willing to discuss Side Out with you on the show.
Oh, please! I want in.
What's it called?
Side Out. That one too.
Side Out. It's a volleyball movie.
It's fantastic. Mike L, if you've not seen it, C. Thomas Howell, Peter Horton, you need to watch this movie. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Courtney Thorne-Smith, by the way, looks foxy in it too. Yeah.
So Brandon, you let me know when you want to do that, and we'll record early.
Oh my God.
We can record at like 7 o'clock.
Absolutely.
So you can make it.
It's one of my we own it. It's one of my favorites. Yes. It's so good. Well, yeah. C. Thomas Howell is such a douchebag. Anyway, fine. That's fine.
All right.
He is terrible in the movie.
Well, let's get to speaking of douchebags. Let's get to Batman.
Woo!
Let's talk Batman. I think I can sum up this book, if I may, give a little synopsis of it. Batman is in a relationship with a woman he doesn't love, so he murders the woman's brother.
Right.
The end.
As always.
That's the book. Well, Brandon doesn't know that because he didn't finish it.
The guy?
Yeah,
you're saying he kills the guy?
Basically, yeah. He pretty much murders her brother. Yeah.
But I thought he was using him
That's right.
as a sort of whatever.
Yeah, and he ends up dying.
Crime, right?
And he ends up dying.
Oh, no. Wow.
But Batman just doesn't get out of this relationship. That was a very good job, Batman. Good going.
I also want to point out I bought this off the stands when it came out, and this was
keep a receipt.
Wow.
This was the year, not quite. This is the year of the Bat. So this is before the Batman movie came out, when Batman was hitting a fever pitch in popularity.
So this issue actually came out because this was 1989. This came out before the movie was, or after the movie?
Slightly before the movie, yes.
Now, do you want to tell the kids who wrote this and who he was?
Well, you'll probably cover that in your research, but yes, it was written by Sam Hamm, who is the screenwriter of the Batman film from 1989.
And Batman Returns.
Wow.
No, did he do Returns too?
I'm pretty sure from my research. I don't know. But they're coming out with an limited series. This comes out this month, Batman 89. It picks up after the same Batman Returns.
Really?
Yes.
When you say that's coming out comics or that's coming out like a show?
Comics.
Yes.
No way. That's awesome. Wow.
So excited.
Sam Hamm.
Yeah, that sounds very cool. And you said it's the same guy, the same writer?
Same writer, different artist than this book.
Wow, very cool.
The artist for this book is Dennis Cowan, we'll talk about later. But Sam Hamm. Apparently, these are the only 3 books, these Detective Comics. This story, I guess, is called Blind Justice.
Mm-hmm.
Arc. And that's all he's ever written in comic books until this Batman 89.
Weird. Huh. So how does that work? How does somebody come to write 3 I mean, because again, I'll say this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I looked like Miguel, like you said. I actually started reading issue 598.
Sure.
And I was like, this is going on quite a long ways, and everything. But I didn't mind the artwork. I like the paneling. I liked how it was set up. I just got bored eventually where I'm like, I couldn't believe how long it was. So, like, did you guys agree? Like, did you dislike or like the aesthetic? Because, like, I liked it.
The art was fine. Yeah, Dennis Cowan. We might as well talk about him now.
Yeah.
I guess what was his first gig, Mike? Well, when he was a little kid, he started out at 14 years old as an assistant for Rich Buckler. He helped him around his studio.
Oh, really? That's cool.
That's how he got into the comics. And then he started drawing them, and I think he got his first gig when he was like 20 or so. But his real first like significant job was The Question. Right?
Yes, right.
Question for DC Comics. And then he did these 3 issues. And then later on, he went. He did other stuff, but then later on, he went in to be like the executive president of animation at BET.
Okay.
And he was responsible for that Boondocks cartoon. Remember Boondocks?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
I think
sure.
Hey Brandon, you might know this. He also drew the cover for the Wu-Tang Clan Liquid Swords. You a fan of the Wu-Tang?
No way, is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
this guy drew that cover, and then he went on to be
That's crazy.
He went on to do some other animation for. He left BET and he went somewhere else now, and I can't remember, but more animation stuff. But he's done a ton of stuff in like animation, like has an executive producer.
But again, you said so. This is his only comic book credit, though.
I know he's done other stuff, but the Question.
Oh, okay.
His work on The Question. He did a bunch of issues for that, and then he did these 3 Detective Comics. And then he did some other stuff, but this is what he's most famous for: The Question and this. Mike L.
Crazy.
What else?
Okay.
Well, what about what's it called? Milestone Media.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know what that
It was it was an imprint. It was
with McDuffie, right?
Yeah, Dwayne McDuffie. Yeah, it was basically mostly black writers and artists and all black superheroes like Static Shock, Icon. I don't remember the rest, but it was fairly successful but it only lasted a few years.
Yeah, I'll say his work reminds me of like a little Sienkiewicz.
I agree. Yep.
A little Howard Chaykin, a little Claus Janson, a little early Frank Miller, and a roll it up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the right, like he's got a good style. Yeah, like definitely Bill Sienkiewicz. He's got that vibe for sure.
Yeah, he definitely has a distinctive style, so that's cool. All right.
So let me ask you guys this, and because I forget if, again, I drink a lot. I've been on here a few times. Do you typically recap the sort of plot of this? And the reason I ask, I'm like, because it was a 3-part. Well, it was a 3 comic book, sort of series. I'm like, I was so sort of lost as well. Like I said, I started 598. Then I was like, I didn't finish it. I picked up 600. Like, all I know, like, suddenly we have this Bone Crusher, and then, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, we'll give a brief. We'll catch everybody up on the first 2 synopsis, and then we'll break down this issue.
Perfect
detail. Yeah.
Okay.
So Mike, would you like to give the kids like the basic overview of what the first 2 issues were, please?
Okay, so let me think here for a second. So yeah, even though I just read it, yesterday and today, a guy. Okay, so basically, Jim Gordon, like Commissioner Gordon, finds a dead body. It's a guy that's been completely like not disintegrated, but turned into mush. Like his bones have all been shattered and organs all destroyed. And basically, they figure out that there's this guy that's this new kind of supervillain called Bone Crusher who is using sound waves, infrasound and ultrasound to like commit his crimes. But at the same time, there's a woman who's looking for her brother that seems to have disappeared. Turns out that he worked at Wayne Tech, and Bruce Wayne sort of remembers him. So he ends up showing up with no memory, doesn't know what's going on. Batman starts investigating. For some reason, he lets the sister and the brother stay at Wayne Manor, which is not a smart way to, cover up secret identity.
Very strange. Yes.
Yeah. And honestly, and then what ends up happening is that one of the bad guys figures out that he's been following Bruce Wayne all along, and he basically hints that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And so...
Well, yeah, you skipped some stuff.
Well,
The guy
Go
behind the Bone Crusher stuff is a guy like Dr. Harbinger, who invented some machine where he can control people's minds. He can hop into their bodies. Shift his mind into other people's bodies. And the other guy you were talking about, he doesn't really come in until this issue, right? Picard.
Yes.
Yeah. In 600, he starts asking the guy, he gives him $100 or something, and then some jackass. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, because basically, it's a mystery, and so you kind of don't really know who's behind what at first. But it ends up, digging up Bruce Wayne's past with them questioning him. What were you doing in all these different countries? And then you get a little bit of flashback to him learning martial arts from one guy, and then learning. I think they show 3 guys, but the third guy ends up being an assassin, which was Ducard, right?
Yeah, he supposedly taught Bruce Wayne how to track people, be a manhunter.
Right. And
how do you feel about this, Michael? Like when they just invent backstory for Batman and just force it in?
Well, here's the thing: is if you don't invent new backstory, you're stuck with what you got in 1939. So I have no problem with it, to be honest.
But how does this factor into the Ra's al Ghul stuff?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a way to fit it in. You could argue that this guy kind of maybe worked. What's that?
Yeah, just jam it in there.
Yeah, they could jam it. Yeah. So I don't mind that. I mean, here's the thing: is I do appreciate the fact that instead of just bringing back the Joker or bringing back, the Riddler or the Penguin, they tried to do something new. I mean, granted, we've never seen Bone Crusher again, so he's obviously not that great a villain. But
well, they were weren't there multiple Bone Crushers?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm just saying that this villain motif has never come back again.
Brandon?
So.
Well, okay. So Mike Dell just asked the question I was going to ask because I don't know. So this Bone Crusher character, this is somebody who's part of the Batman canon, or this is a new guy?
This is a new guy.
He basically for you wrestling fans out there, he kind of looks like the Shockmaster. If you know what that, Michael, do you know that reference?
Actually, no, I don't. No.
You remember the tugboat?
I don't either. Nerd.
Tugboat. Remember Tugboat and Typhoon in WWF?
Yeah, I do remember them.
Well, he went to WCW and they tried to make him the Shockmaster, and he wore this furry vest and a helmet, like a Star Wars Stormtrooper helmet with glitter on it. But he looked very much like, because Bone Crusher has this red vest and he wears a white hood over his face. So it's kind of like the same gimmick. But
okay.
but the Bone Crusher, they were all just weren't they all just experimental guinea pigs that Harbinger was experimenting on to control their minds, and he was getting homeless dudes and stuff, and right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So the whole idea is that this guy can control other people's bodies, and the brother is one of the ones who is being controlled, and then Bruce Wayne figured that out, and the bad guy who's behind it all ends up switching bodies, and so I don't remember what issue it happens in, but at some point he leaves his original body, uses the body of this homeless person, so therefore no one can track him because no one knows what the homeless person looks like. And that's when, we talked about how he's going around, coming across people and just telling them, oh, your legs don't work, your arms don't work, and the person just falls over. And that's how he's able to kind of hypnotize people.
He has some sort of device that can control people's minds or power of suggestion or whatever, too.
Right.
But what was I going to say about that guy? I guess the original Dr. Harbinger is really old and decrepit and in a wheelchair and couldn't move or anything.
Right.
He needed to get to another body. So that's why he invented this. So that's what we're dealing with here: hopping bodies.
Yep. And yeah. What else should we say? I mean that's the thing. Honestly, I don't remember what issue ended where, but obviously once we jump into it, it'll come back to me, hopefully.
Well, let's look at the cover. Brandon, do you like the cover at least?
I do like the cover. I will say once again, I fucked up. Yeah, so once again, I collected Detective Comics. I cannot remember when I started or when I ended. This was not something I've ever read. I'm I don't know what in the hell this was. I was so confused. So like where I was like, oh cool, I'll read like because Mike and I like we were messaging about it. I was like, yeah, I think it must have been issue 600. And then I went to read it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like this, I don't know this. This isn't something I've read. Why would I possibly like? Here's what I think happened. Okay, I think so. There was a period, and I know I used to do this. Like I collected, like I said, I collected all my Spider-Man and my X-Men and whatever. But like anytime like a major issue would come out, you would buy it. You'd be like, oh, 600.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna buy that. That's gonna be worth something. So chances are I bought it and recognized the cover, but God forbid I didn't read that. This was so alien to me. I'm like, what in the hell is that? There's a French guy and now there's somebody replacing Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, there's some blonde chick who wants to fuck Bruce. Like, what's going? I had no idea what I was reading. So, like I said, I got halfway through it. I was like, yeah, I'm done. This is bullshit. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm like, what am I doing? I was like, so I'll come on the show, we'll rap, I'll get drunk, and that's that. I'm like, whatever.
Well, all right. Well, describe the cover, Brandon. Would you like to describe the cover for us?
Isn't that Batman sort of standing in the rain?
Yeah.
By like a,
you're obviously
maybe
looking
by
at
a grave, maybe.
He's not looking.
No, I'm not. I promise I'm not. But like, I like the cover. Like again, I said I like the artwork. I like the the panels. I thought it looked good. I just didn't. I didn't give a shit.
I hear you.
Right. I was like, nah.
Yeah, the cover is Batman standing in the rain on a building top, lightning going behind him, and Mike EL, the Detective Comics. It's like an orange and yellow and a gradient kind of thing. And look, and the V in Detectives like bat wings.
Right, very cool. It's a good logo.
Look at this. A young Brandon paid $2.95 for it just because it was issue 600, May of '89.
But so explain this to me. I was a little bit confused. So the brother of the love interest, right?
Wait. So, we haven't got.
Oh, wait. Am I jumping too far ahead?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the cover. Let's just finish talking about the cover. So I'll just say quickly, I'm not a huge fan of this cover. On the inside, there's a shot of Batman standing in the rain that I think is actually better. This front.
Who's that? Is that Neil Adams?
I don't know. I thought it was also him. What's his name? David Stone. But I could be wrong. But yeah, the cover's okay. But honestly, what is happening with his left arm there? Like I cannot figure out what his left arm is doing.
It's holding the cape around his waist.
But like, is that his hand under there? Like,
yeah, like see where it's bright blue? That's his hand holding the cape.
Yeah, but why would he be doing that?
Because he doesn't want to get his crotch wet.
Okay, I just never liked that.
Got to keep the crotch.
Well, you've got logic. I mean, that's
yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, but it's
that
not,
crotch
not
has
great.
to stay dry.
What do you think, Mike EL?
What about that, Mike EL? What'd you say?
Cover. What do you think? You like it?
It's fine. It's nothing, like it's not amazing or anything. Like if I saw this on the newsstand, I would be like, "Oh God, I got to buy that book." But it's a good drawing,
Right. I agree.
So, all right, as we mentioned, Sam Hamm, Dennis Cowan, and Dick Giordano is the with Frank McLaughlin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's start the big story here. We open with the French guy that Brandon mentioned. I guess he's French, right? Picard. Sounds French.
I think so. Yeah.
And he's doing
Monsieur quite a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, he's doing first-person narration as he's flying into, I guess, Gotham, right? Like he's flying into Gotham.
Yeah. Cool.
And why is he coming to Gotham, Mike? Oh, we forgot to mention Bruce Wayne's on trial for being a commie.
Yeah. Spy. That cliffhanger was not good, but yeah. He's being a spy.
He's on trial because they think he was colluding with this Dr. Harbinger to sell, to be a spy on them and stuff. And so he's on trial. And on the day of his trial, a homeless guy guns him down on the steps of the courthouse. And so it looks like Batman's dead. and
I
that's where
forgot
the
about
last
that.
that's where the last issue ended with Batman. Bruce Wayne getting
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't he in a coma at the beginning of the issue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had read the
All
first 2 issues, and he went into a coma, a deep, deep coma, slumber. All right, so Mike, what's this guy? He's showing up in Gotham. Now, why is he here, Mike?
Yeah, good question. I can't remember. Is he there to testify? No,
Yeah.
is he to testify against Bruce Wayne or for
Yes.
him?
Yeah, because the guy's trying to frame up Bruce Wayne, the evil dude, the cartel. They're paying this guy because they know they had some interactions in the past. So they're paying this guy to come in and give false testimony against Bruce Wayne, and he'll do it for money. And they're going to like cut him a deal on some other stuff that he's in trouble for. So they'll help him. So he's showing up to testify against Bruce Wayne.
Right. And I don't know how much detail you want to go into because we've got 6 issues to cover here. No, just kidding. More than 2. But yeah, basically he meets just some guy at the airport, and
the guy's there to pick him up.
Yeah, the guy's there to pick him up. But as he's, like you said, he's narrating himself, and he's constantly on the lookout to make sure people aren't following him, right? And he kind of figures out no one's following him. And then we cut over to the kind of big bad of the story, right?
Yeah, and
who's in his new body.
Was a little awkward because, like,
we
always complain, like, sometimes, we don't need a transition, like a little narrator box saying elsewhere or whatever. But here you kind of did because we have him picking up a newspaper, and then the next page there's another guy reading a newspaper, and we just get in his head now, and it's like, wait, what happened to the other guy? Where did he go?
And that's the thing is, we got a guy in a blue suit, and then the bad guy is also in a blue suit. So yeah, it's awkward. You're right. You're right.
Jarring first.
Right. And so so this is the main bad guy, but he's in the body of the homeless person. So he's kind of like short and stout and like out of shape, but he's showing how he's went and spent a lot of money to buy some new clothes to kind of hide himself. So because even if someone was looking for this guy, he doesn't even look enough like the homeless guy now to be recognized. Were you going to say something?
So wait, I have to interject. So the Harbinger guy, you're saying, used to be a homeless guy?
Well, no, he was a doctor, but his body was wrecked. It didn't work anymore. Like, he was old and decrepit. So he jumped his mind into the body of a homeless guy. And now...
Oh, as people do. Okay.
Yeah. Because he invented that machine to enable him to do that. So now he's in the body of a homeless guy.
Okay.
And he's cleaning himself up, buying new clothes and everything to look fancy.
So where he's not like whatever Harbinger. He's all caps Harbinger.
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
Is that the same guy? Like where? no, I'm asking.
Yeah. Because sometimes
like,
in the
it was
text,
like in lowercase letters.
Yeah.
And then it was like all uppercase. I'm Harbinger.
Yeah, I think they were just doing that. Like, anytime there was a new character and like introduced, they were put in all caps for some reason. Because Theodore is in all caps.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay. All right.
So that's
right.
Harbinger. So then we.
I needed to ask because it was very confusing. Okay, go ahead.
Feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Bruce Wayne in the hospital, and he's waking up from his coma, Michael.
Right. He's waking up. So basically, now he's fine. So now, obviously, we know Bruce Wayne was never going to die, but for the sake of the story, we believed it, right? And then the doctor is like, "Is this where he?" Oh yeah. So then we also find out he's got 3 pins in his hip. But he's on a ventilator, and it's like, oh no, he may never walk again. And let me tell you, 12-year-old Mike EL was actually worried. He might not ever walk again.
Now, Mike EL, does this cheapen Bane breaking his back then years later?
Yeah, I guess you could say it does. Yeah, you could say it does. Yeah.
By the way, the bed. I'm sorry, Michael, but I was just going to say, when he's in the bed with the ventilator, they have a shot from the side, and you look out the window, the bat signal's in the sky.
Right, because now here's an important subplot around this time is that it was always hinted that Commissioner Gordon suspected that Bruce Wayne was Batman, but he never said it. And so that's kind of the implication here is that he's kind of giving the hint that he's like, well, Bruce Wayne is, in a coma, so Batman's probably not going to show up. But he doesn't come out and say it right, outright.
But he asks another fellow officer to say that Batman arrested some crooks.
Right. Just so that to let the underworld think that Batman is still out there solving crimes.
You with us, Brandon? You following that far?
Yep.
Okay. So So anyway, so we cut over to Harbinger and Ducard.
Nope, this isn't Harbinger and Ducard. This is where it gets confusing. Because
What?
this guy looks like Harbinger. He's another short, dopey little guy, but he has glasses. This is the leader of the cartel. They're the guys that hired him to testify against.
Oh, okay, that's where I got confused. Oh my
I know.
God.
It is confusing because the guys look very similar, except one has glasses and the other doesn't. They should have designed them different. Just
Wait,
come up,
and
make
this
one
is it.
stand, you know?
Well, this is Ducard though. This is Ducard,
Yeah,
right?
it's still Ducard,
Yeah.
but it's not Harbinger.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
Reardon, whatever his name is.
Okay. See, you know what this feels like? This feels like an episode of like The Incredible Hulk where you want to see the leader, you want to see, Abomination, but it's just all these regular guys in suits and ties. You know what I mean? You can't tell anyone apart. Anyway. Okay, so
Well, let me just check. Brandon, could you tell those guys apart?
To be fair, I was so lost. Like everybody, I couldn't follow. What was it? That's why I said I just got so bored. I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I was just done. I'm like, okay, there's like I could follow. Like I knew who the Frenchie was, and I knew who the Harbinger guy was, and then I was just like, I don't care what's happening. Like this, there's too many page history. Like what one comic book has 75 pages? I was like, it's too much. It was too much.
Mike L always does that to me, Brandon. He always picks.
I didn't pick this.
Well, but
anyway.
But to be fair, it's my fault. I understand. It's my fault. I picked it. I picked my favorite comic book.
But, I just feel bad because Brandon, let's just ask Brandon what he would like to discuss about this issue, because I have a feeling he's going to fall asleep if we start talking about it in detail. So
no, I have nothing to say about it because I was bored. I didn't finish it. My whole thing was like this blonde asshole was like all of a sudden becomes Batman. I was like,
yes.
I don't know. I didn't like, and then Batman, all he does is complain about it. Was like, he's too slow. You're no athlete. You're no athlete. You could do this. The fuck? And I'm like, and he spends a lot of time criticizing him where I'm like, what is this? Like,
and by the way, this guy,
I just,
this blonde homeless guy is jacked. He's very muscular.
Right.
Exactly. But according to Batman, he's horseshit.
Like,
He's got no physicality. Like, dude, slow down, bro. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, like, what am I reading here? I'm like, this is so lame. And all I wanted to see, really, I just wanted to see Bruce Wayne bone that blonde girl.
That's right. But you know who didn't want to see that? Apparently Bruce Wayne, because he's not into girls. He didn't want to talk to her at all.
No, you know what he's into? I gotta recover. Gotta fight crime.
Gotta recover.
I
gotta find another 11-year-old boy to take.
Let's be fair to everybody. This is sort of on me again. Not my pick. Not my pick, really. But if this is my pick, it's a shitty pick because who cares? What a terrible. Like nobody cares.
All right. Well, Michael, you cared, right?
Yeah, I care.
Yeah, Michael cares.
Well,
So,
I don't. I'm like, why am I here?
Exactly. That's what I feel bad. You didn't even read it, so we're going to make you sit here while we talk about it?
That's what I'm saying. Halfway through it, I'm like, I'm done. This is horseshit. What a boring comic book. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like I catfished myself. I'm like, what is this? Why did I do this to me? I'm like, this is terrible. I don't want to read this.
Yeah. Maybe we should do like
it's not Michael's fault. It's my own fault.
Maybe let's just do it on fast forward, Michael. Let's just flip through it. Like, so Batman comes home in the wheelchair, and the feds or the attorney, the law, or they're ransacking his house. They're going through Wayne Manor looking for evidence and stuff, and for his trial, and they can't find anything. So once they leave, Roy, the homeless guy, he miraculously somehow clicks a button that opens up the Batcave.
Right.
The feds were all over the place, tossing every drawer. They didn't hit it, but this guy miraculously somehow stumbles upon it. So he goes in the Batcave, and when Bruce Wayne and Alfred come home, and boom, they see Roy in the Batcave, so they have to tell Roy that, hey, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman. I'm gonna his big secret's out, Michael.
Can I also point out, just because someone came across a hidden cave is no reason for them to assume, oh, this guy must be Batman. It's not like anyone knows there is a Batcave, right?
That's a fair point, but I
Mhm.
guess they could have just said, hey, this is my garage.
Yeah,
It just looks
exactly.
this way. That is a good point. So, and then I like how the Batcave isn't handicap accessible, so Alfred has to put in a big ramp. He builds
Right.
a ramp by himself. Alfred, the elderly Alfred, is on his hands and knees hammering a ramp made out of
Awesome. I love it.
wood. So anyway, as we get to the point, like Brandon said, Batman can't. He's in a wheelchair, so he needs Roy, the homeless kid, convinces him to use Dr. Harbinger's device, which Bruce Wayne has somehow, and to put his brain into Roy's body so he could go be Batman. Convince the world that Batman is still alive.
Yeah, good twist.
Yeah. So then what, Michael? The sister wants to get with Bruce Wayne, and he's like, no, I don't want to get with you. And then what else? I don't know. That's about it. The end. I don't know what else.
So wait. Real quick. Explain to me though. Like again, I was confused because again, I sort of didn't understand and I sort of didn't care. What was going on? Like, who was? So was the blonde dude in the Batman costume and Batman was manipulating him?
It was the blonde dude's body, but Bruce Wayne's mind.
Yeah.
So the blonde dude had no idea what was going on with his body when Bruce Wayne was in his body.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Wait, what does that sound?
Brandon's outside running. I don't know what he.
No, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm talking through my speaker, but there's a fan blowing on me because it's so goddamn hot.
Well, that's
it's 85 degrees in my house. I'm losing my mind. That's why.
So, eventually, Michael, Batman goes in the body of the kid, and they goes out after Harbinger or whatever. Bone Crusher. They get into a fight, and Batman breaks his ankle.
Right.
The kid's body isn't as strong as Batman. Bruce, normal Batman's body. So he breaks his ankle on an overhead subway train, whatever. And what would they call that? A subway train outdoors? I don't know. Is it a subway?
Yeah, it gets confusing when subway goes above ground, but yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but then, in order to prevent Harbinger from killing him while he's stuck in the kid's body, he gets Alfred to change the frequency, and he jumps into the Bone Crusher's body.
Right.
But then the blonde kid, then that means the blonde kid's back in his body. He wakes up in the Batman outfit with a broken leg, and his arm's also been broken. And he's freaking out because he's seeing the Bone Crusher guy, and he thinks he's a bad guy. So he starts trying to fight him.
Right.
And Bruce Wayne's like, no, I'm really Bruce Wayne. I'm Bruce Wayne. And here they get hit by the train, and they both die.
Well, they fall, and
They got hit by the train, and they fall and die.
Yeah, but Bruce Wayne is, A-okay because he's just controlling things.
Yeah, his body's fine back home.
Yeah.
In the wheelchair.
Right.
But the Bone Crusher guy died, and that's Harbinger is in the Bone Crusher body.
Right.
He jumped bodies again, and then Reardon, the leader of the cartel, that Ducard guy, he assassinates Reardon, the leader of the cartel. So I guess the trial against Bruce Wayne goes nowhere. Then I guess I don't know, because I guess Ducard said someone paid him more money to kill that guy, so he killed him. And
Right.
So then Ducard. Oh, so Bruce Wayne has to tell the sister that Roy's dead. And before that though, there was a scene where when he's in Roy's body, he tries to tell the sister that Bruce isn't into her like that.
Yes, I thought that was great.
It was horrible. What kind of a man does that? Bruce Wayne, what a gutless little puke he is.
He was being honest. Right?
He was being honest in another person's body.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. If he was being honest, he would have a conversation with her, like a man. But no, he's like, I'm going to get in his or her brother's body, and then I'm not going to tell the brother about it either. So now when the brother does get back into his body, he's going to have heat with his sister for being a dick to her sister.
See,
but no, don't worry about it, Bruce. No, it wasn't clever. Don't worry about it, Bruce Wayne.
As it should be.
Yeah, you just go about your world, Bruce Wayne. It's all your world. No one else matters, Bruce Wayne. Just kill whoever you need to kill. Don't worry about it. And so anyway, so he tells the sister that, hey, I killed your brother. And Michael, there was a line. Holy fuck, I need to find this line because, again, just Bruce Wayne being a gutless little weasel.
And that scene, you mean?
Yeah, when he tells her that he's dead, and he's like, oh, he could have said no. He didn't have to do it. It's like, fuck you, Bruce Wayne. You just responsible for her brother dying. Take responsibility, you little shit.
And then she's yeah. He says, I wouldn't have had this happen for the world, but Roy went into it with his eyes wide open. He knew it was dangerous. He could have said no. And then she says, that's what rapists say, isn't it?
That is what rapists say. And he says, and then he starts groveling. He's like, hey, my secret, though. I'm Batman. Don't tell anybody, please. And she's like, oh, don't worry. I won't tell anybody because this is bad writing. That's what this is. Whenever there's like a big thing hanging over a character's head, and you're like, hey, don't tell anyone. Oh, okay, I won't. In the end, just dust off your hands. Problem solved.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid. All right, but anyway. Yeah, she's going to keep a secret. He just killed her brother. Oh, but I don't want to. I'll keep your secret. Don't worry.
Sure.
But she's outraged about everything else.
So Mike, I don't want to chime in, but maybe this is a bad comic book.
I think it's actually really good. I like it.
It's a piece of. All right. Anyway, so then Michael, Ducard leaves. Bruce Wayne's fine, because he got rid of that lady and he got rid of her brother. And Ducard, he sends him a letter saying, I'm leaving. The country, and just remember, Bruce Wayne, try not to become your enemy. The tricky thing is remaining your true self. But he also says something good to him. He says, "Hey, congratulations on not only killing your enemy, but also sacrificing your accomplice. You did good." So it's like, what I mean? Like, he knows, but Batman's a rat. He had that kid killed. Responsible, Bruce Wayne. You're responsible.
Complex characters. I love it.
Complex characters.
Nuanced.
He takes no responsibility for what he did. And then at the end, we just get this Bruce Wayne, he can't live with the horror of his family being murdered. And I'm trying to watch TV. Oh, it's too much. Life's not fair. Life's not fair because justice is blind. Yeah, because if justice wasn't blind, Bruce Wayne, you'd be in prison right now for killing Roy. Yeah, you killed Roy.
Wait, you didn't finish it. Blind as a bat. Ties it all together.
They're trying to get all deep and profound. But again, at the end of the book, Bruce Wayne takes no responsibility for anything he did.
Right.
And again, he's just the poor victim because his parents died. He can get away with whatever the fuck.
Exactly. Right.
As you can tell, I'm not a fan.
Love.
There you go. That's the book. Brandon, any final thoughts?
No, it sucks.
Let me tell you what I liked about it. I like the fact that they introduce, instead of just bringing back the Joker or whoever, they introduce a new character with a new power, and they use it in several different ways, right? He uses it to control people. He uses it to disintegrate people. He uses it to what's it called?
Here's my question.
One more thing. At the end, even though you don't like that scene, when Bruce Wayne uses it to tell the girl, at least it's coming out of the story. At least it's a progression of
bullshit,
the plot.
Michael. It makes Bruce Wayne look like a rat, a little.
Oh, that's fine, but at least it comes out of the story. At least it's a natural progression of the story. But anyway,
yeah, it was trending to shit, and it got there. But you mentioned his powers. I did like the fact that Harbinger, he talked to that one guy. He's like, "Hey, your legs don't work now."
Right.
So the big guy. So that was cool. And then he does it to a guy on the street. He gets the guy to give him money. So my question to you, Mike, is why didn't he just have talk to the police and everything? Just say, "Hey, don't arrest me," or when he talked to Bruce Wayne Roy on the tracks there, why didn't he just say your legs don't work?
Because then it would only be one issue instead of 6 issues. Okay, that's why.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I like some of the uses of the power there. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's kind of like the Purple Man. The old Purple.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
DC.
Did we lose you, Brandon?
He's asleep.
Okay, he's gone. All right. Well,
that's what I was trying to get through very quick because I knew he wasn't going to last.
I was gonna say when Brandon comes on next, he is free to pick. I'm not even going to talk to him.
Any
comic,
Batman or detective.
any Batman or detective comic he wants. No, just kidding. Any comic he wants, as long as we haven't reviewed it, we can review it. As long as it's between 1970 and 1989. How about that?
Yes.
I won't even discuss it with him.
All right. But yeah,
okay.
He's sound asleep like a little
Okay.
kid.
There you go. I guess now we can review all the pinups at the end. All right.
Yes. Yeah, since this was the 600th issue, Detective Comics, they have like people doing tributes to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did flip through the other 2 issues of this, Michael,
Okay.
and like at the end of the first one, they had a couple pinups and stuff.
Sure.
And then issue 2, I think they only had 1, right?
Yeah, because it was a regular sized issue. It was really confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this one they got a bunch. So who do we got first here? We got. Well, here's what I don't like though, Michael. It says tribute, big red letters, and then there's a picture of Batman there by Bernie Wrightson, and then it says people of note pay homage to the Batman. So if you're not asked to pay homage, you're not a person of note.
Exactly.
Only the elite, only the Illuminati get asked to be the people of note.
Did they ask you, Mike Dell?
They did not.
Oh, see, there's a
They
reason.
could have just said, I don't know, people paying homage to the Batman.
Okay. I think this was a very pretentious period for Batman.
Yes,
Batman
I can tell by the
big
book.
headed. Yeah.
I can tell by the book. The first one's Neil Adams.
Yeah, that's really good. I love that shot.
Yeah. He's jumping through the air. Like I would have liked it if he was a little bigger. Like there's a lot of background and a lot of smoke and very little Batman. But I would have liked Batman. But next up, we got Walt Simonsen, which did he ever do Batman at any point in his life?
Yeah, he did some detective comics in the 70s actually with Steve Englehart.
And he's just standing on like a building gargoyle.
Yeah, it's not my favorite shot, but it's okay.
Yeah, it seemed kind of like rushed for Walt Simonsen.
Right, I agree. Yeah.
Next up, we have the great Will Eisner.
Yep.
Old school. He's shaking hands with the Spirit.
Right. Yeah, again, very retro looking. It's cool. It's fine.
Will Eisner. Yeah.
Yep.
Congratulations. Little Robin's hanging up a sign. Congratulations, 50th year of picking up small children and hiding them in caves. Congratulations, Batman. Then we have some written tributes. Alan Brennert, the writer. Is he a Batman writer?
No, I think he's more of a novelist and screenwriter. He only did a few issues of Batman, as far as I know.
And we have one from Adam West.
Yeah.
Does he say anything of importance? I didn't read.
I read it 25 years ago. I don't remember.
All right, pass. Next, we have another picture. This is from Dick Sprang.
Right. The ultimate 50s artist. I love this shot.
An amazing name.
Yep, I know, eh? Yikes.
Yeah, it's very old school Batman. Hey, Michael, I think Dick Sprang, I encountered a Batman issue recently.
Oh, really?
Old school Batman, where he became Bat Baby.
Oh, sounds fun.
Like, you don't remember? You never saw this?
I mean, that sounds like it might have been done more than once, put it that way.
It's from like this era of art, so I'm guessing. Dick
Sure.
Sprang.
Right.
But he literally becomes a baby, and he keeps fighting crime with him.
Oh, beautiful. We have to incorporate that into flea market fantasy somehow.
Yeah, I think it's from like 50 something, but whatever. All right, so then we have a novelist, Eric Van Lustbader.
Huh.
Very good. Then we have this was impressive. Stan Lee. That's Stan.
Although, did you read it?
Yeah, he did like a little poem.
Read the last 2 lines though.
I refer, of course, to the man the world now hails as Batman.
Isn't it kind of a rule that you don't rhyme a word with the same word?
Yeah, that would have definitely been better if he didn't. Because he does a little poem like, each 2 lines rhyme. I forget what they call that. I guess AABB.
Yeah, something like that.
But what could he have done? I refer, of course, to
that man. To that. Yeah, there's nothing else that rhymes with Batman.
To that rusty tin can.
Yeah.
As Batman.
There you go.
Yeah. So Stanley. Next up, we got
Mike Zack.
Yeah, this is my favorite of them all.
This is really good. Of Secret Wars fame. Brandon, forget it. Sorry.
Yeah, he fell asleep. That's how we always try to book him for the LCS show. He always says he's coming. Like, I'll talk to him at like 6 or 7 p.m. He'll say, yeah, I'm there. and then he never shows up. He always just falls asleep.
Damn.
Yeah, so Mike Zeck, but Batman's coming right at the camera, and he's hanging on a rope, and he's right at you.
Yeah, it's very cool. Action oriented.
And writer novelist Samuel R. Delaney, he's very good.
Hmm.
Julia Schwartz.
Yeah, we all love him.
And then Penn and Teller. What the fuck? Fuck Penn, fuck Teller. I hate both those guys. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, Keith Giffen and Al Gordon.
Yeah, it's a cool shot.
It's kind of like they're trying to do the Dark Knight kind of look.
A little bit, yep.
Now, were these guys like known Batman artists or something?
No, not at all. No.
Never heard of them. Like, have you heard of them?
Who, Keith Giffen? Hello?
Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, no. Keith Giffen's famous for Legion of Superheroes, Ambush Bug. I don't think he ever did Batman. This is kind of like half joking, I think.
Well, speaking of joking, Sergio Aragones.
Yeah, awesome. From Gru the Wanderer.
Gru the Wanderer and Mad Magazine fame.
Right. I love how they ended on that note.
Yeah, he did Mad, right?
Yep, for sure.
I was thinking that he did Cracked. No, he did Mad, and that's the last one.
Yep. There you go. Batman, Detective Comics 600, the 50th anniversary of Batman.
So 1 out of 10, Michael, what are you going?
I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10 for sure.
I'll say this. I like Ducard. Is that his name, right? The French guy, Ducard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. The art was fine. You know, it was better than just good. It was like, slightly better than average art. But the writing, I think the nuts and like the basic writing, the words, like putting words together, it was pretty solid. There's only a couple lines I thought were, questionable. Right. But the big picture stuff, like the way Bruce Wayne is characterized and some of the holes here, not a fan of. His inability to take responsibility for what he did, not a fan of. But yeah, so I'll go 4 out of 10.
The only thing I'll say is it could have benefited from being slimmed down, like trim out some of that, flashbacks and backstory, and just make it like a quicker read. That would have improved it for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that doesn't.
Right.
So,
but
all right, there you go.
There you go, Brandon. All right.
Yeah. And Brandon, he just texted me 0 out of 10.
Come on. All right.
All right. So next week, since we did your comic book crush this week, Michael, with Batman, I think next week we'll do my comic book crush. We're gonna go 1986, Elektra Assassin #1.
Oh, nice! I've never read this.
Neither have I. So, written by Frank Miller, art by Bill Sienkiewicz, painted art by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Very cool. Looking forward to that.
Elektra Assassin.
Awesome. All right. Well, so you can listen every week to Flea Market Fantasy on Stitcher, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts under Comic Book Syndicate. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or the Comic Book Syndicate website. Each week we review a different Bronze Age comic. One week I pick, the next week Mike Dale picks, sometimes Brandon picks, but it's still my pick. So, until next Tuesday, disperse!